Welcome to Staffworks Explained. If you are here for the first time, please consider subscribing to this channel. In this video, we'll be talking about the top 10 projects to watch in Tanzania in 2026. Tanzania enters 2026 with one of the most extensive portfolios of infrastructure and energy projects in Africa. These projects span railways, ports, pipelines, airports, energy exports, and industrial development. Together, all these are expected to influence the country's economic direction for the next decade. The potential gains are significant. Lower transport costs, logistical costs which are lower, increased export capacity, attraction of foreign investment, and large-scale employment. At the same time, these projects face financing constraints, implementation risk, and coordination challenges. We'll do a project by project review of these 10 most consequential developments to watch in Tanzania in 2026, where they were started or when they were started, where they stand as now, what remains unfinished, and why they matter in 2026. The first project is standard gauge railway from phase 2 to phase 6. Given that phase 1 is complete and operational, and partly phase 2 is also complete, is partially complete, and is operational up to Dodoma. The standard gauge railway remains the backbone of Tanzania's transport transformation. The project is designed to create an electrified east to west rail corridor linking Dar es Salaam to Mwanza, Kigoma, and regional capitals. Construction began in 2017. The full network is estimated to cost between 7 to 7.6 billion US dollars. The railway is designed for electrical locomotives carrying both passengers and heavy freight at speeds up to 160 kilometers per hour. By late 2025, Isaka Mwanza section was about 63% complete and had begun freight trials. Makutupora Tabora stood at roughly 14%, while Tabora Kigoma was around 15% complete. The extension towards Burundi has also been launched, and a separate multi-billion-dollar contract. In 2026, the focus is on completing mainline section toward Mwanza, Kigoma, and advancing feeder and cross-border links. Full completion remains dependent on financing, continuity, and contractor performance. The benefits of these projects are clear: faster cargo movement, reduced road congestion, stronger regional trade. The challenges remain persistent: land compensation disputes, power reliability for an electrified system, and sustained funding. The second project to watch in 2026 is the SGR extension to Burundi. The extension of SGR from Vinza to Burundi marks Tanzania's first SGR connection to Burundi and Rwanda. Approved at roughly 2.15 billion US dollars, the project is a strategic component of the Central Corridor. Early construction began in 2025. The remaining work includes major civil engineering across difficult terrain and coordination of customs and rail operations between the two countries. For Burundi, the project officers direct rail access to the Indian Ocean, or what considers the project this offers Burundi direct access to Indian Ocean. For Tanzania, it strengthens its role as a regional logistic gateway. Challenges include cross-border regulatory alignment, financing gaps, and technical integration within the wider SGR network. In 2026, the progress is expected to be on track laying, bridge construction, and establishment of joint operational frameworks. The third project to watch in 2026 for Tanzania is East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. The East African Crude Oil Pipeline is one of the largest infrastructure projects in the region. It stretches about 1,443 kilometers, transporting crude oil from Uganda Lake Albert Basin to the port of Tanga. The project cost is estimated to be between 3.5 to 5 billion US dollars. By late 2025, the construction was nearly 80% complete, with commissioning targeted for July 2026. First oil exports are expected in the second half of the third quarter of the year. The project has faced financing resistance from international banks over environmental concern, requiring complex funding structure and scheduled adjustment. What remains are final welding, system testing, completion of Tanga terminal, and regulatory approvals. For Tanzania, EACOP brings transit revenues and positions the country as a regional energy export route. Environmental risks and long-term oil demand uncertainty remain major concerns. In 2026, the pipeline commissioning will be the defining milestone for this project. The fourth project to watch in Tanzania in 2026 is Tazara Railway Revitalization. The Tanzania-Zambia Railway Authority line, built in 1970s, has suffered decades of underinvestment. In 2025, Tanzania and Zambia signed a $1.4 billion agreement with China's Civil Engineering Construction Corporation to modernize the line. The project covers track rehabilitation, signaling upgrades, and new rolling stock. By 2026, the physical rehabilitation works are expected to be underway. This includes track renewal and delivery of new locomotives and wagons, alongside preparation for concession-based operation model. The project is critical for transporting Zambia's copper exports and strengthening Tanzania freight corridor. Governance, network integration, and long-term operation stability remain the key risks. The fifth project to watch in Tanzania in 2026 is Tanzania Liquefied Natural Gas Project. The LNG project in Lindi is among Africa's largest proposed energy investment. It is based on offshore gas reserves estimated to be about 57 trillion cubic feet. The project is valued at roughly $42 billion and designed to produce about 10 million tons of liquefied natural gas per year. By late 2025, negotiations of the host government agreement with Shell and Equinor were nearing completion. Final investment decision, financial close, and detailed engineering remain outstanding. The project promises export revenue, industrial development, and employment. It also faces complex negotiation, local gas utilization requirement, and long development timelines. In 2026, the critical expectation is final investment decision and start of preparatory engineering works. The sixth project to watch in Tanzania in 2026 is Bagamoyo Port and Special Economic Zone. Bagamoyo Deepwater Port project has been delayed for more than a decade. In 2025, momentum returned with new agreements between the government and Africa Global Logistics. The original plan envisions a major global port with 28 berths. The current phase focuses on initial terminal construction. Construction is expected to begin in early 2026 with a 36-month timeline for the first berth. The project could expand Tanzania maritime capacity, compete with regional ports such as Mombasa. Risks include past contractual disputes and challenge of attracting anchor investment for the wider special economic zone. The seventh project to watch in Tanzania is Liganga and Mchuchuma Iron and Steel Project. Liganga and Mchuchuma project combines iron ore mining and coal extraction, steel production, and power generation. Its estimated value is $3 billion. The project includes 1 million ton per year steel plant and 600 megawatt of coal fixed power station. After years of delays, agreement with investors and the Shudao investment group are nearing finalization. What remains are legal sign-offs, confirmation of tax incentives, and formal commencement of construction. If implemented, the project will produce steel imports and support downstream industries. Its main risks are market volatility and regulatory clarity. Site mobilization is expected in 2026. The eighth project to watch in 2026 in Tanzania is Msalato International Airport. Msalato International Airport in Dodoma is nearing completion. The project cost is approximately $329 million. financed by the African Development Bank and the government. By late 2025, infrastructure work were about 96% complete, while buildings stood at around 63%. What remains is terminal completion, certification, installation of navigation systems, and operation testing. In 2026, test flights and phased operation are expected. The airport is intended to improve connectivity for central Tanzania though cost overruns have drawn public scrutiny. The ninth project to watch in Tanzania in 2026 is Arusha Stadium, which is known as Samia Suluhu Hassan Stadium. The new stadium in Arusha is being built ahead of African Cup of Nations 2027, which will be hosted between among Kenya and Tanzania and Uganda. The project is valued at about 112 million US dollars. Construction started in 2024 is expected to be completed by mid-2026 ahead of AFCON 2027. Structural works were between 30 to 60% complete by late 2025. The stadium is expected to support sports tourism and urban development. Its long-term viability beyond major tournaments remains a concern. The 10th project to watch in 2026 in Tanzania is the broader oil and gas development. Beyond liquefied natural gas and East African crude oil pipeline, Tanzania continues to expand its oil and gas sector through licensing rounds, regulatory reforms, as well as partnership with international companies. These efforts aim to strengthen energy security, attract investment, among other things. The main risks for this are regulatory consistency, local content enforcement, and price volatility. In 2026, the focus will be on exploration activity and integration with large-scale gas infrastructure. In conclusion, we can say that the 10 projects highlighted here reflect Tanzania's strategic push toward integrated transport, energy, and industry infrastructure. In 2026, the progress on railway, pipelines, ports, airports, and industrial projects will have a direct impact on economic performance. Success will depend on financing, discipline, regulatory clarity, coordination across sectors. Delays or breakthroughs on any of these projects will shape Tanzania's role as a regional economic hub for years to come. So thank you for reaching this far. If it's your first time here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Watch other videos that you have done and videos that you have done on these 10 projects. You can leave a comment, share, and like. Thank you.